Hey guys, this is HDD Recovery Services and another episode we're gonna dedicate to Toshiba laptop hard drives. Now these drives come in from a variety of different manufacturer laptops. We see these things constantly, and they come in with all kinds of issues, and basically the issues that could relate to other hard drives manufacturers, we just kind of gonna skip through that because that's just a given. You know, if you drop your laptop and it starts clicking, most likely you damaged heads on it. So all those things we're gonna talk about further videos, but today's quick video I want to dedicate to Toshiba's unique issue, and that issue is associated with the bearing of the drive. Now these drives use fluid dynamic bearings, and the downfall of the Toshiba drive, I guess in certain era started happening because of that failure. It was so common that almost every hard drive that would come in at certain point had issues when it's trying to rotate. Now, how do we troubleshoot this thing? It's very simple. You guys would need to pull that drive out of the well, first of all, if your laptop is not booting anymore, pull your drive regardless, pull it out, and just go to a computer store and buy an IDE to USB or a SATA to USB adapter, whichever your hard drive is using. These things are readily available pretty much in any computer store, or you can buy one on eBay for fairly cheap. So anyways, what I'm trying to say is that you need to reestablish the connection with the drive and kind of put aside all of the other issues that could be related to filing system or the laptop itself. So connect it directly to USB and hook it up to another machine, either it's a desktop or a laptop, and see if your drive is gonna start spinning up. If it does spin, now the problem that we're gonna be discussing today is not related to your issue. What is related, if you're trying to feed power to your drive and you put your ear to it and you hear a buzzing sound on the Toshiba drive alone, now that's what we're going to discuss. Now that buzzing sound explains a simple act that the hard drive is trying to undergo, and power is being fed to the motor, and the motor is physically getting prevented from spinning by that failed bearing. Now the fluid inside the bearing over extensive use or extensive period of time just becomes this almost gummy-like substance, and stops providing lubrication inside that bearing. So the drive starts to have issues rotating when the power is being fed. Now what we're gonna do now is just feed power to our hard drive and see what happens. Usually if it's seized a lot, the drive will not spin at all, but if it's just on the edge of turning, just on the edge of seizing, the drive may start make loud noises, screeching sounds and stuff like that. So we're just gonna power this up. I haven't tested it yet, so let's just see. You can see that the drive is actually jumping across the table on its own every time it gets stuck. So that's definitely a bearing related issue. The sounds that you heard, that's just that's a failing bearing. Now usually when you call their recovery company, they would say, okay, well, if it's a bearing issue, we need to transplant the platters into a new chassis, which is an appropriate procedure for this. But these things can get very, very, very expensive. Now on average, platter transplant on 2.5-inch drive would cost you around $1,600 to $1,700. Now if you can afford that, sure, but there is one trick that I'm going to teach you today, and it's a fairly easy solution that may potentially help a lot of you watchers out there who may be experiencing this kind of issue, this kind of problem with Toshiba hard drives. Now what we're going to use to get this thing going again is SMD rework station. Okay, and you don't need to get a fancy one. If you don't have one, you can buy any rework station from eBay, Usually they run for about $50 or so. The only thing I recommend to use rework station for is that they come with a variety of different nozzles, and the nozzle that we have on there right now matches up with the diameter of the center of the drive where the spindle is located. So we need to flow all of our hot air to the center of the drive to keep it hot, to keep that gummified substance as liquid as possible, to melt it down, so to speak. So, and we want to avoid heating up other components on the board because that can lead to other types of failures. So set it up to about 700 Fahrenheit and let it heat up. I usually use a full flow for the air control, and yeah, just start heating it up right in the center. So you guys heard all the noises that this hard drive was producing, and I'm just gonna show you what's gonna happen to this drive once we heat it up. Usually I heat it up for about 45 to 60 seconds just to get it warm enough so that you can feel it on the outer edges of the drive. If it becomes warm, that's where you want to stop and kind of monitor the process, because this is only a temporary solution for that drive to spin. If you stop heating it, it will most likely seize up again. So I don't know what you're going to be using to extract the data. Usually you can use something like RStudio to start pulling files out. We're going to use Data Extractor for this, and it has a functionality to actually show you that the ID is coming up and the drive is ready and can be accessed. So I think it's warm enough, so we're just gonna hit power. And on my registry bar, I'm just looking here, we can see that the drive came up ready. Okay. It came up ready, and I'm just gonna enter the utility to see that we actually get ID from this drive. And as you can see, we do. The ID has came up, and we should be able to access the data that's on there. So this is just to show you guys that this actually is rotating and not making the squeaky sounds it did before. You can hear that as soon as it stops, as soon as I stop heating up the center of the drive, these noises, they reoccur. So keep feeding it hot air, and the drive will be giving access to its contents. So just to show you guys the access to the sectors that I'm getting, that's the sector 0 of that hard drive. As you can see, that's the Toshiba right there. And if we jump ahead, that's the sector number 2. So that is one quick solution to get your drive going again without going through expensive route of sending it out to data recovery company and getting the platters transplanted. Now, for more tricks and tips on data recovery, follow us on Facebook, or subscribe to our channel. We will be coming up with more videos on this topic, and hopefully you guys find this information useful and like our stuff. So thank you for watching again, and we'll be back with some more videos next week.